Welcome to the BPN Insights podcast. I'm your producer, RJ Malik, and today this is part 2 of Chip, sitting down with Peter Dunn, co-founder and CEO of Feathery, the platform quietly becoming the operational backbone behind advisor transitions and account opening at some of the biggest RIAs in the country. Right now, here's Chip.
Now, Peter, you've had some exciting news recently. You've had a recent fundraise. And when I look at the firms that kind of have your back now, firms like Portage Ventures, Allstate Ventures, Erie Strategic Ventures, Clocktower, and Index Ventures are all participating and behind the scenes supporting you. Tell us a little bit about kind of what you're going to do now that you have the money, so to speak. What comes next?
Yeah, totally, Chip. And, we feel very grateful for receiving, this type of support from some of the largest strategic firms in the world, top venture capital investors. It reflects a lot of their excitement on, what's going on in the wealth management financial services world, right? Like AI is transforming the way that people are collecting information, getting into the systems, opening up accounts, these sorts of bread and butter workflows that traditionally were completely rules based, but now are being automated with AI. And so for us, we're super excited to put the money to work. Historically, Feathery has been profitable as a company, and we sort of saw this investment as an opportunity to double down on a lot of the investments that we're already making. One, on the product and technology side, we just talked about Robin, which is the largest product bet that we've taken to date. There's a lot that goes into it. It's similar to the Robinhood experience. Under the hood, there's a lot going on, but our goal is to make the user experience as simple, delightful as possible. And so taking that,
we call that elegant simplicity.
Yes, absolutely. That's our design principle. So taking bets on how AI is going to change up the automation game. We sort of are taking Feathery to the next level from purely being a workflow assistant, getting you from point A to point B, to actually becoming your operating system, right? Actually helping you understand the data that's flowing through your workflows, understanding, the business areas to invest in, the product areas to be looking at, helping you surface insights about your clients, helping you automatically take decisions on this information. So that's really where Feathery is going. And on a separate note, right, on the client side, we're doubling down on, wealth management. Today we're, working with a lot of RAs, and where our broker dealer market is growing quickly. We're starting to work with banks, actually, wealth management arms of banks, taking Feathery to the next level.
In our conversations that we've had, you've also kind of touched on insurance, which I thought was super interesting. It's organic, it makes sense. So can you touch on insurance a bit?
Yeah, of course. So Feathery, we're sort of targeting financial services as a whole, right? And so when we look at the different segments, wealth management, insurance are kind of two sides of the same coin for us. On the insurance side, you're also dealing with fragmented data. You're dealing with complex documents that people are manually reading through, entering into core systems of records. Obviously, on the insurance side, you're dealing more with like maybe a policy admin system, like a guide wire versus a custodian. But ultimately, the problems that we're solving are the same. And for a lot of our clients who sort of have both wealth management and insurance businesses, Feathery is able to sort of help them unify those experiences, unify the data, and sort of solve the same problems on both sides in the same way. So insurance for us is just another one of those kind of branches in financial services that we're solving with the same approach.
Understand completely. So, and I know this is a hard question because now I'm looking at firms really window of being a year to 18 months before things meaningfully change. But as you look at the future, what are these dollars? How do they impact your vision?
Yeah, totally. It allows us to be more bolder, move faster, be more ambitious. This year alone, we started out the year around 40 people. We're currently over 70. We're probably going to end the year around 100, right? We're investing in product engineering, like the client-facing experience, so that we can provide our clients, a better, more personalized experience, allow them to, start using, sort of our products on the newer side, like the Robin, quicker, and yeah, it just allows us to better serve our clients, and that's the biggest thing that we're focusing on right now.
All right, so that's great. I love this conversation. This has been a ton of fun. As we're looking kind of to wrap our conversation, I always like to ask this question specifically, and that is, who are 2 or 3 people in the industry or firms doing work right now that you really admire and you think they're worth watching, and why?
Yeah, great question, Chip. And I'd start by shouting out RP, Ram Prasad Sandilia from Broadridge, Chief Growth Officer on the wealth management side. We've been working together for a little under a year at this point, but really sharp, really warm guy, super thoughtful on the wealth management industry. Broadridge, obviously, company operating at a different type of scale from where Feathery is right now. So to be able to learn from his experiences in the industry, operating at scale, working with broker dealers of all sizes, has been an incredible experience. And he's been spearheading the Broadridge Feathery partnership from the Broadridge side. And we're really excited for, to sort of announce, down the line, like more about the partnership and the integration there. So RP has been a really admirable figure for me. Other than that, I would also shout out Chris Mills. A little bit biased, but he is our current head of wealth solutions, formerly president of Kovac Securities. Chris kind of has that unique blend of operations and technology. He's seen all the big issues and small issues that broker dealers and operational staff are dealing with, but he also is really thoughtful about the technology, has that bird's eye view on where the industry is going and what the technology needs to do to get there. And oftentimes, he's able to partner with, me, the team. We're more technologists, but we're able to marry the industry and the tech in a very seamless way. And so Chris has, taught us at Feathery so much, and it's been a pleasure having him on the team.
I was going to call him out and how it was a great add to your team. And it's funny because I was probably talking to him during COVID. I remember when he was at Kovac, and he was pretty much ahead of everybody when it came to AI and what he was doing or trying to do. So I always, he and I would have deep conversations about what he was doing and how he was doing it. And I thought it was fascinating. I thought it was a great pickup for you.
Yeah. I mean, we met Chris while he was at Kovac too. And from the start, he always struck us as someone who was like, okay, like, here's the current state of the world. It's good, but what's next, right? Like, how do we take everything to the next level? So Chris has always been a little bit of a visionary from that perspective.
Excellent. Excellent. All right. Now is time for the Beacon Insights Flash. So what we like to do is give you the floor. You have 90 seconds. No scripts, no guardrails. What is the one thing that you want the wealth management world to hear right now?
Yeah. So I think I tie this back to a lot of what I was talking about before on how enterprise software is changing. I use these different terms, right? Form-centric versus data-centric, personalized conversational experiences. But it's all sort of tied around the same kind of concepts of historically, enterprise software has been more rigid to make changes. It's sort of off of your hands as the client, and you're working with CSMs and support staff and engineers on the vendor side to make this stuff happen. But the way that firms have relationships with software is changing, right? Like historically, these workflows, these solutions that you're solving are very complex, which is why you need all the support. But with AI, with personalized software design, with the progressive disclosure, keeping it simple on the surface, but leaving the complexity on the back end, we're able to move faster. We're able to offer better personalized workflow experiences for the end users, and we're able to allow operations staff at the firm to be able to make changes and create workflows themselves. And that kind of is the future of enterprise software, giving more control back to the clients. And that's what we're designing for at Feathery. And so, when we think about form-centric versus data-centric, AI, these are all tools to sort of get you to that end state of partnership.
Absolutely. All right, Peter, for anybody who wants to learn more about Feathery or connect with you, how should they go about doing that?
Yeah, check us out at feathery.io. Also, feel free to shoot us an email, book a demo at feathery.io/demo, and we'd love to chat.
Peter, I'm so grateful that you joined us on the show. Thank you very much, and I look forward to seeing what you're going to do in the future.
Thank you as well, Chip. It was a pleasure being here.
RJ, wow. We covered a lot of territory in those two parts of our interview with Feathery and Peter Dunn. It was super interesting. I took away 3 ideas. One of them being that I found it really fascinating how they've rolled out Robin. And I think that's a big product story for them, because they really have built a tool that can have interactive discussion, but has been trained for onboarding and advisor transitions. I thought that was pretty fascinating. The other piece of this is that the funding round usually is about acceleration, right? Not survival. It works best that way. And, I find it fascinating. Their backers are absolutely saying, hey, go faster. And I think that's great. It gives them a lot of confidence. And it also, quite frankly, can speed up their development and rollout capabilities. The other piece of the puzzle, and I took this really from the closing message, is about where enterprise software is heading. And AI is changing the relationships that firms have with their software. And, even I know this, looking at some of the tools that we use, those traditionally have been fairly rigid, right? And vendor controlled workflows and reliance upon those systems and those people at those firms to get things done before you could proceed. And what I'm seeing now is like Feathery, softwares are getting much more flexible, and as well, they have a much better focus on the key important items like data, user experience. Those are big things to me.
I got the same impression or same feeling that you just, were talking about, and flexibility and just being able to move faster, get information faster, get data. Actually, data was a big word, or a word he used a lot. And, that stood out where it was more of people who are using AI just to improve a workflow, but it's still kind of, you pointed out, kind of rigid, where now what they're trying to do, Feathery is trying to do, is just make it, collect the data and then use that data to be more flexible and to move faster.
Absolutely. They are driving kind of the nimble evolution is what I see. Well, RJ, it's time to wrap. this edition of the BPN Insights podcast. And before I leave, to quote Ted Lasso, be curious, not judgmental. This is Chip Kispert wishing you well until our next episode of the BPN Insights podcast.
Excellent. Thank you for checking out the BPN Insights podcast, which is brought to you by Beacon Strategies LLC. For more information, visit beaconstrategiesllc.com. Until our next BPN Insights podcast, for Chip Kispert and everyone at Beacon Strategies, I'm RJ Malik.